And a day after the president was touting tax reform, our Steve Liesman sat down exclusively with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, who said there is a plan and it would be released in the next few weeks.
Despite criticism that President Trump yesterday promoted a plan without detail, Mnuchin said there is a plan and it would be released in the next few weeks.
Originally, our goal had been August. Unfortunately, things got delayed a bit. But we're on a track to get this done by the end of the year. So you're going to see the details come out later this month. It's going to go through a committee process, and we expect the House and the Senate will get this to the president to sign this year, and we couldn't be more excited about the progress we've made.
Mnuchin said the administration is aiming for a revenue-neutral bill. That is one that won't increase the deficit, but said that would depend on how much growth the Joint Tax Committee attributes to those tax cuts. And Mnuchin played down apparent differences between the Fed and the administration on the critical issue of changing the post-crisis bank regulations.
I had breakfast with Fed Chair Yellen this morning. We meet on a weekly basis, as have previous Treasury secretaries in the Fed. And we have a very constructive dialogue on a lot of issues, including regulation. And one of the areas we are focused on working on with the Fed is fixing the Volcker rule. But I think, as you've seen, the Treasury put out a report on what we believe are regulatory changes. I would describe about 70 or 80% of them we can work with the regulators, which we have a working group on, and the balance we're going to need congressional support for.
In other highlights of the interview, the Treasury Secretary said the U.S. would hit the debt ceiling on September 29th, which has not changed since the previous time he's given us a date, but he did say that aid for Hurricane Harvey and the spending could have an impact on the debt ceiling. Mnuchin added he had not considered whether to go ahead with an Obama administration plan to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill with the famed abolitionist Harriet Tubman. Speaking of dollars, Mnuchin very much seemed to back the idea of a market-determined dollar and didn't talk it up or didn't talk it down. He said over the long term, a strong dollar is a reflection of market sentiment about a country's underlying economy, not that a strong dollar makes the country strong. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Steve Liesman in Washington.